Yo, what's good? So I just caught SportsCenter on ESPN, and the crew was absolutely going off because something massive is brewing in Las Vegas with the NFL trade deadline just about 24 hours away. The panel expects the Raiders to be very, very active, and honestly, according to the SportsCenter breakdown, they don't really have a choice but to be active given where this franchise is right now at 2-6. But here's where things get absolutely wild. There are now serious whispers and rumblings that Kyler Murray could potentially be on his way to Las Vegas in what would be a franchise-altering blockbuster move that nobody saw coming. Even without formally requesting a trade, sources close to Kyler Murray are indicating that the dynamic quarterback is beginning to see the end of his competitive cycle in Arizona, according to the SportsCenter analysts. After years of trying to lead the Cardinals to playoff success and championship contention, Murray is now watching an organization that appears to be entering a phase of complete reconstruction and re-evaluation with no clear path back to relevance, all while he's currently living in the prime of his career at 27 years old. The Cardinals don't have the pieces around Murray anymore. They've failed to build a competent offensive line. They've struggled to surround him with weapons, and the defense has been a disaster. The championship window that briefly cracked open seems to have slammed shut permanently. Listen, Raider Nation, I need to be real with you for a second. My dream right now is hitting 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and that subscribe button is how we get there together. Every single subscription brings me one step closer to that goal, and means more to me than you could imagine. We're building a home for real Raiders fans. No clickbait, just pure silver and black content. If this breakdown means something to you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. Let's reach 1,000 together and show YouTube what Raider Nation is all about. Just win, baby. The SportsCenter crew emphasized that Murray's burning desire to compete for Super Bowls right now is finding a new potential destination, the Las Vegas Raiders, a team that, despite their current 2-6 record, has the foundational pieces, the passionate fan base, and the organizational commitment to winning that could provide the perfect stage for Murray's championship ambitions and elite dual-threat talent. For a competitor like Kyler Murray, who's given everything to Arizona, the reality is becoming crystal clear that if he wants to win championships in his prime years, Las Vegas represents that ideal, fresh start in a market that would absolutely embrace his electric playing style. The panel broke down why this makes so much football sense for both sides. The Raiders have elite defensive pieces with Max Crosby anchoring the pass rush. They have young offensive talent that could flourish with an elite quarterback, and they play in a brand new state-of-the-art stadium in one of the most exciting cities in America. Adding Kyler Murray to that foundation would instantly transform the Raiders from rebuilding team to legitimate playoff contender. Murray threw for over 3,700 yards with 24 touchdowns last season, while also rushing for over 400 yards and 2 more scores. He's a dynamic playmaker who can extend plays with his legs, throw accurately from any platform, and has proven he can carry an offense when healthy. Pairing him with the Raiders' defensive pieces and passionate fan base would create the perfect environment for Murray to finally reach his massive potential. The timing makes perfect sense according to the SportsCenter analysis. Arizona is facing harsh realities. They're clearly in rebuild mode with an aging roster, limited cap space, and minimal draft capital to improve quickly. Meanwhile, Kyler Murray is watching other quarterbacks his age, like Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts, competing for Super Bowls every single year, while he's stuck on a Cardinals team trending rapidly in the wrong direction with no realistic path back to contention. The Raiders represent everything Arizona isn't right now: a team with a clear vision forward, an elite defensive foundation to build around, the financial resources to surround a franchise quarterback with weapons, and the Raiders Nation fan base energy that a player of Murray's elite caliber deserves to showcase his talents in front of. Sources suggest that while no formal trade request has been made public, Murray's inner circle is quietly exploring what a move to a franchise like Las Vegas would look like from both a football fit and lifestyle perspective. The conversations are preliminary but growing more serious as Arizona's season continues to spiral, and Murray recognizes his prime years are being completely wasted in the desert. But the SportsCenter crew also had to break down the current Raiders trade deadline situation, because there's a lot happening. The analysts wanted to hypothesize about 3 players they think are realistically the biggest candidates to get moved for various reasons. The Raiders are going to be very active thinking ahead to the future, because the present isn't going anywhere. That's not telling anyone anything they don't already know. There are moves to be made for many reasons, from personnel fit to contract situations to just thinking about the bigger picture. The first candidate the panel believes is going to be on the move is Jackson Powers Johnson. JPJ was a guy that this time last year Raiders fans thought would be a focal point of the offensive line, along with Colton Miller on the left side and JPJ in the middle. But since training camp started, and since Pete Carroll took over with his son Brennan overseeing day-to-day offensive line operations, it just hasn't worked in any capacity. They had him at center, then moved him to guard, then made him fight for his position with other players. JPJ got hurt, came back, and there was still another battle. He got benched in Kansas City when everything was going bad. All that feel-good aspect that everyone had at the end of last year thinking he'd be the answer at center has completely dwindled by the midpoint of this season. The SportsCenter crew thinks JPJ is going to be the first guy moved out of Vegas because there are a lot of teams void of versatile interior offensive linemen, and the Raiders have a guy who can play 2 spots. For better or worse, him potentially moving might actually be beneficial. It's very disheartening to see someone in his second season who excelled and played pretty well in his first campaign, and for the most part this year has looked like a starting caliber offensive lineman, likely being moved just from a schematic frustration standpoint. The second candidate is the obvious one, Jakobi Meyers. The panel is taking the low-hanging fruit here with the Meyers situation. They've been discussing this since the start of the season with his contract dispute, then him not fitting in with the offense, then him essentially reiterating that he wanted to be traded. It just feels destined to happen, and it should happen, because the Raiders aren't going to pay Meyers what it would take, probably a $50 to $60 million deal over 3 years or more. Right now, there are a lot of teams actively looking for a wide receiver. Pittsburgh makes sense. New England would be a perfect reunion. Meyers is the best wide receiver on the trade market right now. The analysts think Jakobi is going to be moved, and deserves to be moved. The third candidate pains the SportsCenter crew to say, because they thought the investment could be special, Kenny Pickett. The Raiders didn't give up much for him at the start of the season, just a 5th-round pick for a backup quarterback, but it's been largely inconsequential. They've only seen Pickett once in that Kansas City game where he bobbled the snap, and Pete Carroll pretty much chastised him. The panel isn't sure if Pickett has a future in this league, but they would have liked to see him get a consistent chance. With Aiden O'Connell back practicing, Pickett probably isn't going to get that opportunity. Might as well ship him to a quarterback-desperate team that could use depth. And here's where things get really interesting according to SportsCenter. There's a cryptic tweet from Max Crosby that has everyone talking. Not too long after yesterday's game ended, Crosby posted, "Raider Nation, I love y'all with everything in my heart and soul. Y'all deserve better. Stay as one. It will change." What does that mean? Does that mean something is on the horizon for Crosby? Is he frustrated and asking for his way out? The panel's gut suggests he's not going anywhere based on mid-season reports, but it at least tells them when they see that tweet, it's not a no-brainer that he's staying. It's not guaranteed that this trade deadline comes and goes with Crosby still in silver and black. At 2-6, the Raiders are viewing the long-term picture. They need more than just a standout defensive end to become relevant. They need multiple pieces. And if there's a team willing to make a massive offer, the deal isn't totally far-fetched. And this is where the Kyler Murray rumor tie everything together, according to the SportsCenter analysis. If the Raiders can somehow acquire Murray from Arizona, it would instantly change the entire trajectory of this franchise. Murray would have Max Crosby anchoring an elite defense, he'd have the weapons on offense, and he'd be playing in front of one of the most passionate fan bases in football. The Cardinals are clearly rebuilding, And Murray deserves better than wasting his prime years on a team going nowhere. Las Vegas represents that fresh start, that winning culture, and that championship opportunity Murray has been desperately seeking his entire career. So that was the full SportsCenter breakdown of the potential Kyler Murray blockbuster to the Raiders, combined with all the trade deadline chaos surrounding Las Vegas, with less than 24 hours until the deadline hits.